Hey everyone, how you doing today? Thought I would finally show an update on this bird of prey, and I basically got it finished, short of LCDs. So everything else is done. O2 sensors, lighting, the rest of the interior, all that stuff is done. So let me just show you kind of a tour on the ship, just so you know what I'm talking about. And if you haven't seen this before, this is what it is looking like right now. Been working at this for a little bit, kind of on and off. I had a very busy last week and didn't get a huge amount of time to get things done on it, but I did kind of jam on it last night a little bit on 4th of July over here in the States at least. But it is coming along pretty good. I solved a lot of my issues. I had some O2 issues I had to deal with as well, but everything's fixed now. I found my little O2 hole. Some blocks just don't work the way you think they're gonna when you're sealing stuff. But anyway, to get in the ship, so you first can one of the many entry points to the ship is back over here, and this is ground access. So you get into this back little area. It's got a couple cargo boxes in here, some utility stuff like O2 med station, fridge, and armor locker, just for quick utility function if you're going to exit the ship out the back here. Now, where I'm failing right now is on LCDs, and I'm thinking I may try to install some elevator LCDs in here. Maybe use the same LCD design as I used on the Proxima. In fact, I don't really feel like making a new group of LCDs specifically for this ship at this point because it's going to take a long time, and I don't really plan on adding more ships to the Klingons in the near future. I'll probably be going in some other different directions with building on some things again here again. But I do want to return to Star Trek at some point again, probably for the more human type creations. Anyway, yeah, super dark in the elevators. Can't see where you're going, and that is a problem. There's no way to really get lighting in an elevator system like this. And the way the lighting is in the game, everything is just black, which kind of stinks. But all right. Well, anyway, let's go on the first deck. Now this is going into the nose section. Now to start with on main parts, I'll show you all the stats. But um, currently I have three large shield parts, six medium shield parts in here, and eight small shield parts installed in the ship. I also went through and redid the weaponry on the ship as well. So it's got, I think it's final loadout. I'll go over all that in a bit though. So this room here is largely vacant. This is the bottom part of the neck. This is just kind of a storage room. I don't know if I should try to cram more junk in here or not. It's kind of just clutter stuff, but a couple boxes in here and a couple cargo pallets, no big deal. The crew section is over here. And I've got some bedding in here, and the whole interior is kind of grungy looking, grungy, like I made that word up, but a bit grungy looking, and I kind of wanted it to look a little bit different. You know, it's not as nice and sophisticated as the human ships in the Star Trek genre. Um, so over here in the crew area, obviously you have your beds, and then you have your normal stuff over here, your toilet and shower, little kitchen dinette, some places to eat, fridge, some miscellaneous things over here, Wi-Fi on the front of the ship. And then when you come up here, this is actually a place where you can put in some decoys if you wanted to. Completely optional. I won't put any in by default, but if you want to put in decoys, it's kind of a Xeno sealed room. And if you wanted to even get in a turret, you could remove some of these round Xeno blocks on the top over here or on the bottom over here, and then place a 3x3 turret in there if you wanted to. I can't do anything about coloring the floor because that is a retractable turret and it needs to be green on the outside of the ship there. So I did try to cover it up as much as I could. Um, so coming out of here, you can either go back to the main elevator and go up a floor, or you can take the staircase on the one side here of the crew area, and this gets you up into the area that you haven't seen before, the bridge section. Reminds me, I did not put in decorative things up here yet, so I'll probably add in a couple things, little screens or something in this area, maybe some decals on the floor. I do have some rust stuff all over the place at this point. So when you come up into your main area over here, this is kind of your production area. It's got some miscellaneous other things to look at, but and you also have all your medical equipment over here, specialized medical equipment, and your main O2 and med bay are over as you get off from the main elevator coming up. In here, you've got some more cargo boxes. Two 320K storage bays, two advanced constructors, four small constructors, and two 320K ammo bays in the area. So this is where it's going to need some LCDs. I wanted to get some of those over these, and I may just use the ones that I used on the last build, which is the Proxima for this ship as well. I kind of like those LCDs. They work. They didn't screw up. And Yeah, I know it's a little cheap. I probably should try to recreate some new LCDs, but I did want to get this out to the workshop because I'm really running behind on it. I thought I was going to have it out sooner than now. Yeah, just a lot of things where I wasn't getting a lot of time, and a little bit when I did have a little bit of time, I was kind of annoyed at this build for a bit, and I got over it. I was basically it's like things like the window texture or lighting and texturing is screwing up. The general lighting in the ships are kind of I don't know. It's all right. It doesn't look that bad. I'm probably I overstress over some of these things. I think. Um, when you come out on this side here, going through the production area, you get to the side engineering areas and the main engineering area. In here, this is where you got a couple more medium shield parts in here. Um, and some miscellaneous fuel tanks and oxygen tanks. I do have Wi-Fi installed on one of the sides back over here. There's Wi-Fi on the front, and there's a few different locations with Wi-Fi, trying to get good Wi-Fi coverage. Then you got your warp drive out back over here. I do have a Xeno wall covering up this center section. The center section is a pretty big area full of the really, really big parts. Now, a lot of these areas are going to be very hot, such as walking back over here. I do believe, hold on, let me get the HUD on, and yeah, this is super hot here. So they'll, maybe I should probably get some caution things up over here, or something to warn you about the heat. Basically, in proximity of these large parts, there's just there's just too many of them, too many places. If I want to allow you to have access, I can't possibly keep you far enough away from the parts to not get fried. Um, but in here currently, I have three big shield parts and a fusion reactor, and a T2 shield, or the advanced shield um, stock. So that is basically what this is coming out to be. I'm not super happy with parts of the room because I got a lot of Xeno in the area, especially on the ceiling and this back wall. But with the parts installed, you don't see it as much, but it is kind of crappy texturing over here. But I really can't do anything about it if I wanted to keep the strength of having the Xeno blocks in place. So there is that. All right, let me get out of this section, and I will hit the main elevator, go up a floor. Well, actually, let's go. No, we've been down already. That's the entry point. There's also. I missed a floor here. No, we walked through here. Never mind. You already seen that. Okay, so let's go up to this area. So there's a really small little teleporter room over here as well. Just this was some weird in between space between a couple other decks. I figured a teleporter is a nice thing to have there. So it's all wired up on a sensor. All the lights are on sensors right now too. So that part's at least done. So when you come up here, this is your where the secure bridge is. Again, I'm not super happy about the texturing on the front wall of this, but it's Xeno, and I'm kind of stuck with Xeno texturing. I'm trying to use as many as I can that can possibly somehow fit into the scheme, but there's not many, so I had to pretty much do what I'm doing there. So you do have your quick entry points over here. I've been kind of debating if I should get a sensor on these doors too. Right now they're kind of set for manual open and closing. I do believe I could probably fairly easily dump in a sensor to have these automatically open. That could be a thing. Maybe I'll look into that. So getting into the secure bridge, this is what that's looking like right now. It does have a separate door over here to seal separate oxygen in this section versus the outside over there. Um, so you got your pilot seat, you've got and 5 passenger seats in this little area here. Now, off to the sides of the secure bridge, either side, they're kind of cloned here, I guess you can say, or the same on the right and left. Um, while the other side actually does have a gravity generator here. This side could be reserved for offline protection. Again, not very happy with a lot of the texturing I've got over here. Xeno blocks and weird things, and just trying to keep stuff safe. And We all know we love those Xeno textures. They can work. Some of the textures do work for some areas, but if you have to do mass areas of it, you're pretty much out of luck. Um, so in here, we've got a couple of the small shield parts per side. Keep in mind this is again cloned to the other side. Um, so some small shield parts. And then this is there's 2 banks like this in the ship for quantum and auxiliary cores. Now, right now, I did dump in 10 quantum cores in here. It does need a couple auxiliary cores, but I can't seem to add those in creative. I don't see the part as an option to add in creative mode. Now, I'm not going to have it come stock with these quantum cores. I just want to put them in there to get an idea of the CPU and things like that. Then you got the main core over here, kind of somewhat near, but kind of protected around a lot of Xeno stuff in the area. Um, if you keep on following this through, this is going to be a no oxygen hot zone again. The ship's pretty notorious for that with all the parts installed here. But this is basically a thruster access room slash there's a couple more of the small shield parts in here. So small shield parts I had to balance out where there's two banks and 2 capacitors each. Um, and I'm sorry, four total each. Uh, so a total of 8 of the small shield parts here. So over here, yeah, this is another hot zone. Going to give you access to some thrusters. I may just remove this inner area. I was trying to protect in case there's some kind of weird explosion that happens this way, trying to protect it from getting that direction. And then I've got some more Xeno along the sides over here and stuff like that. Now, extremely hot area to walk through. I definitely wouldn't walk through here without thrusters, or with the thrusters on, I mean. And there's also no oxygen in this area, so it's just a dreadful area to go to, but you shouldn't have to go there for any particular reason unless you're doing maintenance. Um, so that is Man, and that is honestly pretty much the entire ship. It's not that big of an interior, and it's mostly just engineering stuff, sort of what's in the neck, and the loading bay. And here's that gravity generator on this side. Um, so you get an idea. I think I finally, I think everything is rolling pretty good on it. Now, spec-wise, taking a look at all the numbers and what I have currently installed in here. If we get over to the main stats, you see, well, we're size class 6, 23-hour and 15-minute build time. I do have all the stock weaponry and shield and like all the shield stuff installed. Now I can remove some of those and lower the CPU down pretty easily. But you can see on the final specs on speeds, it did slow down a little bit with the roll, pitch, and yaw. They're not bad though. You still run at 38 on roll, 49 yaw, 36 pitch. You've got 72 ms forward and lift, 36 strafing, 36 down, reverse. So not too bad there. It's not running any RCS for any particular reason. Current loadout, I have a lot of positrons on here. I'm using the max count allowed, at least according to the tooltips in here. So six positron, well actually 12 positron beam turrets. We've got 9 retractable minigun turrets, 2 flak turrets, uh, 6 artillery cannons and 4 advanced laser cannons. And then we also have, there's another cannon. I got a cannon turned in here. I'm getting rid of all the cannons. So I'll be replacing this with a minigun. That's my fault there. I didn't realize that. Then we got 4 retractable missile turrets as well. If you take a look at the shield, Shield fully charged 129,000 on shield with the current configuration. And that is basically how I'm doing this. On the small shield parts, obviously, I'm running the max count, so it's got equal banks versus chargers. On the medium shield parts, it's running 4 banks, 2 chargers, so you got more of a shield capacity there. On the large shield parts, it's running 2 banks, 1 charger, so it's kind of a 2 to 1 ratio on the medium and large shields. To come up to this particular shield number. Now, I believe that's a pretty strong shield rating, um, as far as I know. I mean, it is possible to take it up higher than that yet, but I'm not sure if you'd be able to exactly be able to cough up enough CPU to do that nicely. I'm sure you can. There's a lot of different ways to get CPU, so you probably can. And not to mention, I don't have any auxiliary cores installed in this ship. With 10 quantum cores installed, it brings it up to 4.1 million CPU. So the aux cores would make a big difference on the CPU number. But unfortunately, at least in creative here, I don't know how to add an aux core to the ship to take a look at the numbers. I don't see it as a legitimate part I can put in place just for testing. Um, and that's kind of the ship in its loadout with weaponry and whatnot. Let's see. I'm trying to think of something else here. On other parts, um, it is running 12 fuel tanks in this one. I do have quite a bit of oxygen tanks too, 15 oxygen tanks. So uh, it's not a huge amount of fuel tanks, but they are bombs. They are bombs in your ship. The more you put in, the more explosive stuff you've got in your ship. I try to find a balance. I did up it a little bit though to get at least 12, so you got a pretty decent running time on the ship. Um, and how it actually flies in reality right now. At least let's hop to the first person bridge. It's um, it's not bad. It's still a pretty agile ship. I did weigh it down some with all the Xeno blocks and things like that. But I think it's going to be pretty nicely maneuverable when you're flying this around. And there's its nemesis right down there. Yes, yes, these ships can go to battle. Now, I do believe, I mean, this is a steel-hulled ship. It does have some Xeno backing in places, but, I mean, if you take critical damage on areas, I mean, you'll probably, if some of these main areas are breached, and I did try to secure them some, but if they are breached, you're going to be in a world of hurt, especially this central room. That's kind of it's not like right at the surface of the ship, and it does again have a lot of protection around this room. Um, but yeah, if something like this gets popped, you're going to be kind of in a world of hurt. uh, I don't know what else to do about that, but again, it's designed for hit and run attacks, similar to the Proxima. You got a lot of shield. If you allow your shield to go all the way down and keep on fighting, where you're getting hit hard, you're probably going to lose your ship. Um, Case in point is it's basically try to get out of battle and let your shield charge up. It's got a big shield for that kind of thing. Um, I have to see in game how long that shield can actually hold up before there's problems. It's the biggest shield I've ever had in this ship. In fact, I think it definitely overpowers what the Proxima had in shields. And I don't think this is going to tell me right now, is it? Yeah, well, the shield on this was a lot smaller, so this ship is a big time shield ship. Now, because I can't do cloaking. I mean, if the game had cloaking in it, I would have probably specialized this ship more into cloaking, but it's more of a shield specialty, I guess you can say. Um, and yeah, its general loadout I think is pretty good. You're still running so you got 4 laser cannons and it's running 6 artillery launchers. So it doesn't have as much as the Proxima. The Proxima has a little bit more weaponry on it than this ship does. This ship is largely based on shield and maneuverability, though it's a lot smaller than the Proxima overall. Um, so basically, really, what I got left to do is to figure out what I'm going to do with the LCDs. Now, I do plan on getting this to the workshop within a couple days. I wanted to get it definitely to the workshop before Saturday, so everybody can have it, check it out. But I wanted to ask the question last minute. Can you think of something I'm missing here? Okay, there's something wrong, something you would configure differently. One little scary thing is, of course, I'm pushing like everything in the ship right now, all the shield parts that it can fit and hold, and flying around. Um, I can with the shield on. I can, well, not really. When the shield's charging, when it's actively charging, it can get up to in the 90s on power usage. Um, and that's flying as well. So you're not just staying put, you're doing like three direction flying around. It can get into the 90s. I've seen the highest of 96%. It's not critical. I don't really have a spot to add another generator unless it's a small one in here. I certainly don't have a spot to add another fusion reactor, um, unless of course one of the big shield parts were removed. But I think it's good. I've never seen it top 100, um, and that's doing that's while your shield is charging and you're maneuvering in space at least. Um, So yeah, other than that, I think it should work pretty good. Again, I'll like, probably automate a couple doors opening up and get some LC. Did the game crash? I don't know. uh, and a couple, maybe a couple of those doors I'll have automatically open with some sensors, and I think that's about all I've got really left to do on the ship. Unless something comes to mind. Now it does have oxygen throughout. I was going through all that before this video, and I did have to fix up some zones. When you land on the ground, I'm just trying to see how this is going to do it here. I'm just holding down the C button until it levels out. Okay, so it didn't look like it wanted to turn off the thrusters this time, but just manually do that here. Just testing to see how this ramp thing is going to work. Here, let me get out of God mode as well. Just want to see, and try to check everything, just kind of go over it, see how it actually works when you're walking around on foot inside the ship. Um, See if the ramp doors are working all right, and see if it gets you down to the ground like it should. Kind of. The ground's not exactly even where I landed it, but I think that should work pretty good. Um, it does balance pretty decently as well on the ground, despite the weird configuration of landing gear way on the outer wingtips, and kind of like pretty close together. But yeah, there wasn't much choice. I couldn't really do a whole lot with adding in like a big landing gear anywhere on the front area of the ship that would make sense. I suppose it would either interfere with turret positions or a lot of things, and I just didn't want that as part of the equation. It would mess up things. But okay, well, anyway, I just wanted to show you this. Now, I do have plans for some new videos and stuff. And also, sorry, I have not got a new microphone yet. Um, this one is really quiet. I know that I got the volume cranked on OBS or the input gains as loud as I can go right now, and this is as best I can get due to the fact that I just cannot seem to adjust the mic volume on this headset. It doesn't allow me to, and it keeps it very quiet. Um, and it has controls on it to adjust the mic volume. They just don't work, unfortunately. No matter what I do with drivers and patches, and there's not really drivers for it, but there was um, a update, or I'm sorry, a firmware update for the headset. I downloaded that, try to install that. It says I don't have the headset and it won't continue, but I do, and Windows sees it and everything else. So I have really no idea what's going on. I think they've got some wonkiness with their product, honestly, or maybe there's something just really messed up with my PC that I'm unaware of because I don't really have problems anywhere else in the game, or anywhere else with anything else. So running Windows 10, not 11 at this time. Um, but anyway, I just wanted to show you an update. It's been a little while, and it's close to get to the workshop, and it's close to complete. Um, just some more looking things over and whatnot. Maybe tomorrow I may start a different build as well. Possibly something just for fun, or either that or a high gravity something or other for next month's challenge, or I'm sorry, this month's challenge. On So we'll see how that goes. But yeah, I'll probably be building something new. I got some ideas for some other things that don't aren't for the challenge. Some ideas more in the tutorial aspect, and I think I might try to get back to that and try to show some more things that I've uh, picked up over time, or kind of go over some things, especially if you're a new player to the game and don't understand a lot of the ins and outs of different things. So I'm gonna try to focus a little bit more on some tutorials. And I really this build, it started out pretty fun doing the body, but I got kind of annoyed and frustrated doing the interior, especially with the Xeno integration and trying to figure out how strong it should be in places and the weight and the texturing. And I was annoyed at the lighting and problems with glass windows or different windows and things like that. When I'm building this, so it was kind of like I was excited, and then I kind of lost my enthusiasm quite a bit. I got it back again now that it's about done, and I'm ready to go. Or just about ready to go. Again, I'm going to try to dress up those. I got to get some kind of directory in there with the elevator and get some LCDs in there. I like the inner LCDs or elevator LCDs a lot because that makes it a lot easier. I can seldomly ever put good directories above the elevator doors themselves when you come in from the outside, because it's just it doesn't line up the same on every floor, and there's no room for it typically. But actually being in the elevator itself makes the most sense to me. I find it to be the easiest way to know where you are in the ship. Easier than looking on the outside of the elevator at whatever floor you're at. Um, Basically, just having all the information inside the elevator. It's a little, you got to find places to place all those LCDs, but I don't know. I think that is the method I'm going to use moving forward at this point. It makes more sense than having directory LCDs over the doors. You could still have a directory LCD somewhere as well, but this way, if you have everything inside the elevators, you don't really need to. You can know what's going on as you're doing it, which I think is just easier to navigate with, um, especially in larger, more complex ships. Now, this one could probably get by with that. There's not that many decks. There's like just like I don't know. I think there's 4 ways off from the elevator, and 2 of those ways actually go to the same area of the next section here. Um, so also on stock loadout of weaponry, do you think I had to try to cheapen the ship and remove some of the turrets and some of the shield parts and things like that as well? That is a big question I've got. I don't have to run all these shield parts in here stock. I really don't. I was trying to come up with a configuration that works with more of a focus on heavy, on big time shield. But of course, you got to have some extra chargers in there because those shields slow down the charge rate, um, and things like that. So I'm hoping I got it configured pretty right, but I don't know exactly. So if you guys could tell me how I'm doing on my my shield loadout again, it's got 8 small shield parts. It's running 4 of each kind. It's got 6 medium shield parts. It's running um, uh, 4 of the 6 are banks and 2 of the 6 are chargers. And then it's got 3 large shield parts. 2 of those large shield parts are banks, and 1 is a charger. Um, just trying to keep it kind of balanced but shield heavy. So that's the idea at the end. Anyway, that's all I've got for today, and you have yourself a great afternoon. I'll talk to you later.